Hey, it's Doug Cunnington here from Niche Site Project. Today I'm going to talk about how to get links to your affiliate content. I know that's a little bit of a struggle for some people sometimes, and I have a few tips for you. So hopefully in a minute or two, or less, like in a second or two, people will be able to start viewing, and I'll see that you're watching, and hopefully I see a green bar moving, so that means people can probably hear me. And yeah, we'll get it into it. Hey, Falk is there. Welcome. Thanks for joining up. Quick note, I did a couple things like the last time we did the live stream, I think on like Thursday, Friday of last week. And I shared the actual Google Hangout link or the live streaming link in a couple Facebook areas that I didn't always, or I guess I haven't been sharing it there all the time. And it looked like there were like 2 to 3x more viewers on that specific video over the previous 3 earlier in the week. I see Florian on, Mattias, Dennis. Awesome. Thanks everyone for joining up. And we'll get into the answer to this question in a second. Hopefully, we'll run this sort of tight. If you do have questions, you can ask them. Please ask them in the chat. If you have questions related to what we're talking about today, like linking to affiliate content, that's even like, I would love it if you ask those questions. The unrelated questions, I'll probably just log and answer later to keep these, these sessions like enjoyable for myself. Occasionally, it's not a problem, but occasionally a person will come on and ask like 15 pretty basic questions that have been covered previously. I don't mind answering them again, but I will hold them to specific Q&A sessions so that I don't spend like 2 to 3 hours answering the same questions on consecutive days. Again, I don't mind answering them over and over again, but I just gotta keep my sanity here. So Nick's on, what's up? And JP is on, cool. So today we're gonna talk about getting links to your affiliate content and generally like commercial content. So there are a couple main things to think about. And one, I'll point it out. If you want to get links to your content and you want to just not have to consider, I guess, working with other people or whatever, you can use PBNs, right? You could use private blog networks, use gray hat techniques, build sites on your own using, expired domains, or you can buy domains from an auction, or you can buy another blog and use that as like a linking mechanism. I don't personally do that. I don't do gray hat techniques. They work fine. A lot of my friends use them. They work great. It takes, in my opinion, it takes about the same amount of work to do gray hat versus white hat. And, one you sort of have a little bit more control over with the private blog networks. And then if you're doing white hat and you have to work with guest posts and you have to work with other bloggers, well, then you have a little bit less control up until the very end. So we'll focus mostly on the white hat stuff since it's what I do. And that is, I think, the context of this question that was asked, I think, a couple weeks ago. So yeah, someone, Dennis says, likes my shirt. Yeah, my sister and brother-in-law, they like made this shirt for me. So it's pretty cool. Pretty fun. Thanks for noticing. All right. So number one, if you're doing gray hat stuff, then you just get your link wherever you want it. No big deal. You can get a link to your affiliate content, and that's one of the main reasons that people use PBNs is like you can get the link exactly where you want it, and you don't have to mess around and negotiate with potentially a blogger that may remove your link, right? So let's outline the process here. Let's say I'm trying to get links to a specific page. It's a page that I know should rank well, and I just think it needs more links. The content's good, it's getting a little traffic, but I just want to like boost the rankings. So perhaps I'll go out to a blog, I'll comment a few times to build a relationship with the blogger, and then I will probably send an email or two to further build the relationship. And then at some point I'll probably send an email that says something like, hey, I was just about to publish this post on some topic, and I thought it'd be a really good fit for your blog. If you want it, I can send it over to you as a guest post, and just let me know what you think. So at that point, it's kind of like, oh, I'm doing you a bit of a favor. I was going to publish it, but I like your blog, we're friends, and so on. The one key thing you may want to add in that pitch is basically it's an incentive for them to publish your post. And you could say, hey, I mentioned about 3 or 4 products that are on Amazon, and I see you're an Amazon affiliate also. That's assuming they're an Amazon affiliate. A lot of bloggers do have that set up anyway. And you could just say, hey, I mentioned a couple products. It'll be great to publish on your blog, and you can put your affiliate links in. I was going to put mine in, but if we post it on your blog, you could just put your affiliate links in, and it's a bit of a transaction, but it's very clear, like you're giving them content, they're getting something out of it. They're getting like a money-making piece of content potentially from you for free. And usually if you do that, they will leave the links intact. Like you can link to 2 or 3 posts on your site. Some of them can be affiliate content, and I've done this literally dozens of times for myself and for clients that I've had in the past. So that is pretty much like, that's it. It's very simple. You like give them an incentive to publish it, and then it works. So I see Leo on. What's up, Leo? Thanks for joining. And Matthew says, when asking for a guest post or a link, are you assuming the person understands SEO outreach and your purpose of posting on their platform? Not necessarily. So it depends on like the niche. So if it's like clearly an affiliate site, then I assume that they have some working knowledge of SEO and backlinking and why we're asking for guest posts. If it's more of a blog with a very light affiliate component, so if it's like, I don't know, say like a travel blog where someone's like documenting their journey and they, it's not affiliate content for the most part. It's like a blog, like a blog where people are sharing a story, and it's, something maybe their family reads, and they just have a few affiliate links throughout, but you could tell that they're not affiliate marketing savvy. I'm assuming at that point they don't have as strong of SEO knowledge, but they do understand at this point. They probably understand the links, at least on a very basic level. And then again, assuming that they're somewhat of an affiliate, I would guess, hey, if you give them an opportunity to put affiliate links in content that maybe they don't have skills in writing on the specific topic, well, then it's a great thing for them, especially when, most of the time I mentioned, I'm not trying to get a guest post on a direct competitor. It's more like a related industry where we would have a common audience, but we're not marketing the same products. So that's a key distinction there. All right, cool. That's a good question, Matthias. But for the most part, when we take it just a higher level look, we are trying to guest post with a friend, someone that knows us. So that's why we did all that networking ahead of time. We commented on their blog, we sent the emails, we did all this stuff so that we're not just a random person, we're someone that they, maybe they actually read some posts on your blog, something like that, and you're commenting on their blog. So there's a bit of a dialogue happening. It's super helpful. So Nick mentions, my first 2 guest post outreach emails have gotten you guest post. One was a really big blog. You'll post your email example in the 5-Figure Niche Site group later. That's awesome, Nick. Congratulations. That's pretty cool. It's amazing this stuff can actually work out well, especially, I mean, Nick, I imagine, did you do like the multiple touch points, the high touch points? All right. And any other questions that people have about getting links to your affiliate content, or maybe you want to challenge what I'm saying and you think, hey, I know you're telling me that, Doug, but I don't think it'll work. Here's why. That's a reasonable response. So, and here's the other thing. So I've gotten these links to affiliate posts. I've also had my links removed, and in one specific case, it was a decent blog. There was a good rapport happening between me and the blogger. They not only removed the links, but they didn't even add a bio link to the site, to the site, to the domain. Like, they gave no links. They just like wrote the name and said, this is a guest post from blah, blah, blah. So they stripped all links that I put in there and then added just internal links and affiliate content for themselves. So that happens too. I mean, if you do a high number of these, like that's part of the game here. So Nick says on the guest post that he landed, you did blog commenting first and then made the email longer. You actually read the blog a bit and gave the story of yourself, and then you tried to set your blog apart from other sites. Cool. That makes total sense right there. Awesome. And you gave a lot of compliments and talked about what they were doing well. So yeah, it's like it's the same sort of ideas over and over again, where you can basically, give people compliments. People don't get that many emails. They don't get that many blog comments most of the time. There are some blogs that just get tons of that kind of stuff, but most blogs do not. So if you just show up a few times, like, they'll notice. I mean, I have a decent number of people that read Niche Site Project, not as many as I want, but if you comment like twice, like, I'll remember who you are. So you don't have to show up often. You just have to show up a couple times. Matthias asks, if you compete with a gray hat site that uses PBN and you use guest posting, do you generally need as many links as them, or are the guest posts valued more? There are way too many factors to figure that out. So I think in general, you may need a few more guest posts to rank, but it depends on how powerful the PBNs are and how powerful your guest posts are. The other factor that is kind of hard to figure out is the time, like the sandbox time. I personally believe there's like a sandbox for each URL, like each page. So if you publish something new, say a KGR article, keyword golden ratio article, it may actually take a little while to move up. So my thought is maybe I thought in the past that it would take, say, I'm just going to make it up, like 30 to 50% more guest post links over PBN links. But I don't know, because I never actually tested, hey, like, I'm going to add the same number of links and then wait it out for 6 months or a year to see what happens. And, I would imagine the age of the domain, or not the domain, but the age of the URL, again, that's my personal belief, may have a factor in there. So I don't know the answer to the question, Matthias, but it's a good question. I think just in general, you should almost always like aim, if you're doing gray hat or if you're doing white hat, like you should always aim to get more backlinks than your competitors. Over time, like more people will try to be competing with you just in general. So if you just keep getting more and more links, then it's normally a good thing. Even, you know, if you're ranking #1, you should probably still keep getting a couple new links to pages over time. So, and Pritam's on, just missed it. You just joined. I got to the punchline quick, so you may have to rewind it and watch the first half. So, okay, cool. Any other questions here? And if not, I will make a couple quick announcements. So, #1, I just published the first post in like a series. Like I think it's going to be a 3-part series. I just posted a link in there. I have not yet sent out an email, but basically this is like content. Like for the next 2 to 3 weeks, I'm going to be talking about content. This time, today, this post that I just pasted the link there, I talk about 2 methods of generating content, creating content. And those 2 like techniques are something that I've mentioned before. I go into it a little bit and set the context a little bit differently in this post. The thing is, you can take these 2 techniques that I described and then hire writers to, you know, take that and actually write out the content. So that's kind of what I do. I create an outline, at least for new writers. I create an outline and then give them like a structure to use, so you end up with like higher quality results. Now the thing is, part 2, which will come out I think next week, I'll actually cover, you know, hiring people and what to do and some of the aspects you have to consider. Like I'm looking at my whiteboard, like what to do to hire people if you're not a native speaker, general instructions, style guidelines, what to do if you get content back and it's kind of subpar, not what you expected, firing a VA. And the other thing I'm going to mention is I have a couple service providers that I'm going to recommend. And, you know, me personally, I actually hire most of my writers from just Upwork. Like for whatever reason, I have good luck on Upwork, but a lot of people do want like the, you know, white glove service. They want a full, you know, I guess all-inclusive content service. So there are actually like 3 really good providers, and I'll share those with you in the part 2s and in part 3. So, okay. Nick says, I have a question for another day. You were watching Backlinko. What do I think about infographic sharing, or the infographic sharing backlinks that he recommends? Cool. Yeah, I could talk about that a little bit too, Nick. That is a good one. And this is, I think Brian Dean calls it like gestographics. So I think one of the things that you could do just in general is like combine 2 techniques that people don't talk about combining. So, for example, I did a guest post at Ahrefs on combining guest posting with the skyscraper technique. So the skyscraper technique, another Backlinko Brian Dean idea, or at least he put the name on it, right? So he didn't come up with the concept, but he put a good name on it, like the keyword golden ratio. So the skyscraper technique is to find a popular topic and consolidate all the information so you have the best resource on the topic. Then you go out and try to get links to it. Well, that works for some industries, but a lot of them, you know, a lot of industries it doesn't work as well. So, because it's saturated, like everyone started doing it, so like it doesn't work as well. And the gestographic stuff that Brian Dean talks about, basically you do an infographic and then you try to put guest posting together with it. And for the Ahrefs guest post that I did, I took the skyscraper technique and combined it with guest posting. So that's how like it worked out for me. But anyway, Nick, that is a good question. I will talk more about that in another session. Cool. So I think that's all the questions for today. Thanks everyone for joining. And if you have a minute, it'll be awesome if you go to the new post on content, leave a comment if you like it, share it around. Actually, that would be super awesome if you share it in like Facebook groups and or friends or whatever. That's actually one thing I really need to sort of get back into, is like writing something good, hopefully, and like sharing it and getting influencers to share it around. So okay, see, Florian says, I've been writing a lot of KGR content in over 2 months or so. Only 2 articles are ranking so far. Interesting, Florian. That sounds suspect. I'm not sure why. One has over 1,300 searches, which is the same as one of the articles you wrote that ranks on the second page. And Dami's on. Hey, Dami, what's up? So Florian, quick note. KGR, it has to be under 250 searches. So it won't work as well if you go beyond that. It's just the math. So a lot of people ask why. 25% of 1,300 is like, what is that, 400 something? So basically, if you're competing with like 400 people, 400 posts instead of like 50. So you need to, scale it down. Like that's not actually a KGR term. So cool. Yeah, everyone, if you have a second, yeah, Nick, thank you. So if you have a second, click like on the video. Let's see if we could actually get more views here. It's the little thumbs up thing. Like, I like this. It says 21 are watching now. Like if all 21 people click the little I like this, I'm looking down at it. Hopefully we can get a few more people to do it. All right. And I'll answer this last question that Adil asks. It is totally unrelated to the topic, but I think Adil probably joined late. So Adil, will Facebook ads will Facebook ads work for Amazon niche sites? Probably not. I don't do it, but basically you got to be a paid traffic ninja to make it work out. There could be some opportunity with like retargeting and stuff, but I don't do it. I don't think it's necessary. I think if you're trying to do it, it's going to be pretty tough. So, okay, I'm going to jet for now. Florian, maybe if you leave me a comment in this specific video, or actually, you know what, Florian, just send me an email and maybe we'll cover it in another time, but it could be your on-page SEO. So your on-page SEO could be off and it's just not ranking well. I'm not sure, but basically if you've been doing it for 2 months and you have a bunch of articles out there, you should have probably at least 50% of them ranking in the top 30 or so. You should be able to do that. So cool. All right, I'm out of here for today and we'll catch you tomorrow. Thanks.